Sometimes we get lost and I have to do all these things. But when we just think about it, it becomes overwhelming. So if you literally just stand up, you've started it. And if you've started it, that means you can do the next thing. And so breaking things down to the smallest component allows a person to do the next thing. So anytime you think about something is meditation. So learning how to be mindful of what you think about allows you to switch that unhealthy thought structure and meditate on something that is in your future. As you continue to meditate on those things, you'll find that it rewires the neurology of your brain. And all of a sudden what you thought is something you will now become. What I want people to remember, or just to feel when they experience it, is hope. There is always hope. Things continue to get better and better and healthier as you have more of awareness of who you are and the person you want to become.
Self-sabotage, one of the chapters in the book. And how often do all of us, self-sabotage?
Yes.
We think we want something. We want to change something in our life. I was working with a group of our members last week, and we get to these with couples. I love working with couples, and I am not a clinical trained psychologist, but I feel like I need to impart some of those skills. But I hear people that are hardworking, they're diligent, responsible, and I'm talking about like men here, responsible for the financial security of their family. Yet at the same time, they want to be with their family, and their family wants them, and so they've got this conflict. The thought is, I want to be a better spouse. I want to be a better parent. I want to spend more time there. But on the other side is, I think I need to be out there slaying the dragons, making more money, building up a bigger business, because I don't know how much is enough. So I want to be this, but if I don't, if some beliefs are contaminating me, then I'm not, even though I may want it, I'm not going to do it. Talk a little bit about self-sabotage, if I've even framed it up in
oh, you have. Yes. Self-sabotage. Exactly. You did a great job. And you're not clinically trained, which is a fantastic job. So self-sabotage is basically anything you do that gets in your way. And so let me actually read the chapters here. So under the category of identifying self-sabotage, I have 5 different chapters there. And the first one is mediocrity, the dream killer. Doing what you've always done is a sign of mediocrity. The 3-second rule. In fact, I didn't know there was someone who did a 5-second rule, but I did mine way before she did, which is basically self-sabotage, which starts in 3 seconds. So for example, if I want to do something new, for example, if I want to wake up and go to the gym in the morning at 5 a.m., incredibly ambitious goal. But if I want to do that, if the alarm goes off at 5 a.m. and I wait 3 seconds, if I don't get up, I'm just going to hit the snooze button and go back to sleep. And in doing that, it's the same type of thing when we introduce something new we want to do that's healthy for us. If we don't make that conscious decision right that second, then all of a sudden we will revert back to something. So anyone listening right now, if you want to make a change, you have to be incredibly specific about what's going to happen when that time comes that you're going to do this new event. Because if you don't have a plan, you will automatically revert back to what you did before. Because reverting back to what you did before, that is what you knew, which is your habit, because you've done it more than 63 to 66 times. The next one is creating self-acceptance. That is really important. Core beliefs are those things that we believe about ourselves. For example, when we were told something when we were a child, that core belief is what we've reinforced. So if you find that you do something and you say, James, you're so stupid, or you're so ugly, or you're so fat, or whatever that might be, when you have those looping thoughts that go through your mind, that is a core belief that you've created when you were a child. And whether either someone told you that or you just reinforced that and you thought it over and over and over again. So when life happens, when we're blindsided, those mantras come out, and that's what we believe. So I help you figure out what your core belief is and how to change that to believe the truth about you as opposed to what you thought before. 2 more here. Just stand up. That is a really important one. So sometimes when life happens, either emotionally we become bombarded, and when we just I can't do anything, or we're trying to make a change and we can't. If the concept of literally standing up, either your body stands up or you emotionally stand up, it allows you to have a different perspective. Sometimes we get lost in, I have to do all these things. But when we just think about it, it becomes overwhelming. So if you literally just stand up, you've started it. And if you've started it, that means you can do the next thing. And so breaking things down to the smallest component allows a person to do the next thing. Remember, a beach is not a beach. It's multiple grains of sand. So it's the same concept of one little grain of sand, another grain of sand, and it continually builds and builds, and there's the beach that you have. The next one real quickly is the last one is meditating on unhealthy things. What we don't realize is, well, first off, people say, I don't have time to meditate. Well, did you know that anytime you think about something more than 3 or 4 times in a row, that's meditating. So you're either meditating on anxiety, you're meditating on healthy things, you're meditating on something, or anxiety. So anytime you think about something is meditation. So learning how to be mindful of what you think about allows you to switch that unhealthy thought structure and meditate on something that is in your future. You're kind, you're loving, you're noble, you're gentle, whatever those things might be. As you continue to meditate on those things, you'll find that it rewires the neurology of your brain, with the brain plasticity, and all of a sudden what you thought is something you will now become. So those are the chapters in self-sabotage.
That's powerful. Let's do one more. Improving communication. To me, communication is everything about relationships and how we deal with people, and just everything about life. And we all suffer from lack of communication skills. How's this chapter built out, and in what ways would it improve our lives in going through some of the issues that we deal with in our day-to-day?
Excellent. Well, the 3 chapters in there are healthy conversations, setting healthy boundaries, and steps for effective communication. We all communicate, but are we really communicating effectively? There's a difference between what I say and what you hear. If I were to use the word love to, let's say, a 13-year-old girl versus my version of love as a 46-year-old man, that's going to be perhaps a little bit different. Maybe not. It's going to be very different. And so we all have different concepts of what those words mean. So if I use a word and I say it because it's a normal word for me, but if someone hears it differently based on their own life experiences, all of a sudden we're not communicating effectively, because it may be a really powerful word for them, but not a powerful word for me. So it's important to recognize how you communicate effectively. You want to be able to make sure that you understand the nuances of the person as you're talking to them. The other aspect is we judge others by their behaviors, but we judge ourselves by our intentions. My intentions may be to be a really kind person, but if the person hears me say something and doesn't come across kind, well, unfortunately, there is a disconnect. So I teach people how to be really mindful of how they interact with the other person. One other thing is when a person is going through something. So for example, David, I come to you and I'm like, David, I really need to talk to you right now. I'm really struggling. If I don't tell you what I need, and I tell you everything that's going on, and then you try and problem solve it for me, but I didn't want you to problem solve, all of a sudden there's a disconnect. I'm like, man, David, I'm just trying to talk to you. And so that's how to really be mindful of the role each person plays, to be very specific about how to effectively communicate and allow yourself to get the needs be met in the way that you need them to be met.
So is that where my problem comes up when I try to fix everybody's problems, especially like my wife? It seems like that's a lesson that I have to relearn over and over again, because so typically she just wants to be heard. She just wants to be heard, to have my attention, and I want to come in and fix it. It's like, not
well, there's one thing you could do. Yeah, one thing you could do, and obviously this isn't marriage counseling, but it's just for anyone listening right now. Anytime someone's talking to you, and if they don't do this, and you simply ask them, what do you need from me right now? So as a listener, what role would you like me to play? And you can say, do you need advice? Do you need just a shoulder to cry on? Do you just want to vent? Do you just want me to listen? What is it that you need? And it allows them to assign you the role, and then you fill in the blank and you become that role. Because in doing that, it's so much easier, because the person really knows that you are hearing them and you're listening to them, and you can give them specifically what they need in that time.
Really, really helpful. So if I get the book, this is a book that, because it's based on the different chapters, it's a book that I can go in and I can just jump to specific chapters. I mean, I can say, wow, and so I don't have to just read the book from cover to cover. So I can jump in. What do you want people to experience as they're using this as a workbook? What do you want them to experience?
Well, first, let me say 2 things about that. Yes, you can either read it. So it's 52 chapters. You can either read 1 a week, or you can read it just like a normal book, go front to cover to the back cover, and you can do the workbook. You don't have to do it. All the questions and prompts are after each chapter. So you can read it like a normal book. You can do it as a once a week, you do something. But the great thing about it is in each chapter, I give like a little sentence or 2 about what that chapter is about, so you can jump right to it. So in the moment you're like, crap, James, I'm struggling here. I need something right now. You'll be able to go to whatever chapter it is, read the chapter. It gives a good framework for it, asks you the prompts, asks you the questions, gives you what to do to help you become the expert of your life. But yes, what I want people to remember, or just to feel when they experience it, is hope. There is always hope. There may be the darkest day in your life, but to know that there's hope and there's an answer. When you can put a name to something, when you can be aware of what you're going through, you then become the expert of your life. And that is what I really want people to understand, is regardless of how dire the world is or how wonderful the world is, things continue to get better and better and healthier as you have more of awareness of who you are and the person you want to become, because there's always hope.
James, when is the book going to be available?
Pre-sales starts May 31st to June 13th. You can buy the pre-sales on Amazon. After June 14th, when the actual launch happens, you can buy in any of your favorite bookstores, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Target, Walmart, all places where books are sold.
Fantastic, fantastic. As busy as you are and with as many talents as you have, do you still have time? Do you still work with people one-on-one on any capacity?
That's a great question. Actually, I do. It's doing everything. As you're busy, I'm busy. I really enjoy that. Being in the media world, I absolutely love and I enjoy it, but I do miss the clinical work. I don't see patients per se, but I work with a lot of people and more mentoring. I'm not a life coach. I'm psychotherapist, very different. And in that, I do help people. So what they read when they purchase this book is exactly what I would teach them on a one-on-one basis. So yes, I work with many people from all over the world who consult with me. I absolutely love that. And if any of your viewers or listeners want to do that, simply go to jamesmiller@lifeology.com and contact me, and I will work with you.
And we really touched on your radio show, but that's really how you and I first connected. And you've got a large bandwidth of listeners. Let's talk about the radio show. What happens there, and where can people connect with you on that?
Oh, well, thank you. Yes, it was when I started Lifeology in 2015, made my change and started something new. I really wanted to do something different. So when I created Lifeology, it started as a YouTube channel, then it went to podcast, and then went to syndicated radio show. So I have, like you said, very large listenership. I really want people to have these life hacks. So just as you and I are talking about ways to enhance and improve your life, that's what happened. So I think as of this date, I have over 400 episodes, and I'm on 3 times a week in 17 major markets, on terrestrial stations, all streaming radio platforms, and it's archived in all podcasting platforms. Anybody can hear it anywhere. Simply go to your favorite podcasting platform, or if you're in the major markets like Washington, D.C., LA, Vegas, Pittsburgh, any place, you can hear it there as well. Or simply go to jamesmiller@lifeology.com, and you can listen to all the shows there as well.
Great. Well, we will list the links to the book and the radio show in our program notes, so that'll all be there for people who may be listening to this on the drive right now. Just go there and you can pull those links up if you didn't have time to write them down or memorize them, which would be difficult for me to do on the fly. James, it's always a pleasure. I'm excited. I really am. I'm excited back in this book. I think it may be something that may become one of our base books. We give a lot of books out to our members, about different aspects that we think are highly conceptual and fundamental. I believe your book is one because no matter what we think we need in life, there's always areas that we haven't really gone into to enough depth to make the changes, and we just bump the ceiling all the time. I know it's happened to me, and those breakthroughs are some of the keys. So I love this. I can't wait to get my hands on it and get into it myself, because I know there's some chapters that will be very relevant to me.
I'm very honored by that. Thank you so much, David. I truly appreciate that.
My pleasure. Talk to you soon, James.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed watching or learning from this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more content. If you have a question about any of my content or this specific video, just please leave a comment down below. And as always, stay focused on your freedom. I'll see you next time.